Hey, good morning.
Morning, Chris. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good, Kevin.
It's the
What
afternoon. Yeah,
what's
sorry.
that?
Oh, and I was just gonna tell you it's the afternoon for me right now. It's almost 4 p.m.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna ask, I figured, I mean, I knew it was later, I just didn't know um exactly how late.
Yeah, man. The exercise yesterday was really good.
Yeah? Awesome.
Yeah, I found it helpful, especially because I think I told you yesterday I'm doing it for a B2B
Mm-hmm.
company. So I did a few myself manually first, and then I threw the rest into Grok,
Yeah.
Perplexity, and then Grok to kind of rank it, and it was very interesting. Yeah.
Did you get any new ideas or
Yeah, there was one that was interesting where it was like, I want to feel that our data is secure and compliant. And
mhm.
then as you go down the so I cans, it's like, eventually it's so I can earn the trust of my leadership and my stakeholders, which was
Oh
interesting.
yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, well today we'll take those sort of the process today is like we'll start looking at the offer of the product and breaking it down into features and benefits. And Gene calls it the performance of the product. So think about like
Okay.
what the product looks like in action, and then you will match those benefits up to the desires that you worked on yesterday. So it'll be like
Okay.
matching. This is what the product does, and this is the specific dominant desire that uh, action or benefit addresses.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Hey Steve, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, Chris. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Hey Tina.
Hi,
Hey Brian.
Chris. How you doing? I'm
Hey,
talking to myself and the
gotta
audio off.
Hey Chris, how you doing?
gotta find that mute button. Hey Brian, I'm good.
I know.
I'll be here the whole call today. I'll even stay on for longer if people want us. So sorry about yesterday, but
No
I
couldn't
problem.
have to
couldn't
leave at
do.
noon.
Okay.
We're taking attendance and that'll be a black mark, Tina. Sorry.
Damn. I'm sorry. I'm picking up how old is she? 5-year-old granddaughter.
Family first, baby. That's
I
what I had
know. I
yesterday. I
know.
had
I
health
know.
issues. So health and family come first, no matter what.
I got that one tomorrow.
Okay, no problem.
Mm.
No
Yeah.
problem.
And we
I do have
don't.
a question. So
Sure.
I put in everything into Chat GPT
Mhm.
yesterday, and then I added more today, and I got such amazing stuff. And then it wanted me to log in.
Log
So I logged
into.
in
Log
and I
in where?
lost everything.
Oh no. Oh, you were using it without being logged in?
Yeah, yeah, I didn't
Oh.
realize it. So
Logged into
so
ChatGPT or
Y- Yeah, I logged into Chat. So I put all of my information into Chat GPT, got phenomenal stuff. I'm even impressed because I know all this stuff, but you never know what you know. You
Hmm.
don't know half of
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. You don't know what you
And
don't know, right?
yeah, exactly. And it was great. And then it wanted me to log in, and I logged in thinking that it would all stay there, which it has done in the past, and I don't have anything. So I'm gonna
Mm.
root around and see what I can do. Otherwise, I'm
Not
just gonna have
only
to.
is your attendance going to be bad tomorrow, your dog ate your homework too.
My dog, yeah, no, that doesn't
No, I'm
work
kidding. I'm
anymore.
kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah,
Now that's
yeah,
a
but
bummer. I hate when that I hate
yeah, yeah.
technology, the technology monster gets in the way of creativity.
Hmm.
It
Oh,
sucks.
sorry about that, Tina.
Sorry
So
about
I'm
that.
gonna have to do it all over again, but I'm okay
But I'm
because
sure it's all into your brain, so yeah.
it is. It is. It's like I'm happy. Plus, I have
Good,
this
good.
really great French toast bagel that I'm eating.
All right,
Yum.
good, good.
Oh,
So
nice.
I'm gonna go off video.
Sure.
Enjoy.
Hey, Stephen, I just want to say hi. I mean, Stephen, I don't know, you joined Titans Accelerator
Yeah, I
and
saw
then you
that.
hop right into the boot camp, which was wonderful.
Now it took me a while to pull the trigger, and I don't know
Well,
why,
you know
but
what? It's
it's
another
glad to
family
be here.
first. I'm not going to give away details, but definitely a family first situation. I gave you the space. I wasn't going to pressure you, but I'm so happy you decided to join and join both Titans Accelerator and the boot camp. So, um, really, really nice to meet you.
It's good to meet you too. I'm really looking forward to being here. Everybody's been great so far. It's been spectacular.
Well, you're
Best
only
thing I've
just
done in a
getting
long
started.
time.
Yeah, you got a long way to go. You're just getting started. Ask some of the veterans. Ask Scott Reed how good it is to be here. Scott, tell him how good it is to be here.
It's pretty darn good. It's the best one ever. That's what I say.
Yeah,
That's
every
right.
call is the best one ever.
Yeah.
Um,
But this is I think that this is the best group ever. And I've told both of you guys that. So it's
the accelerator group.
yeah, accelerator
Yeah,
group. It's
yeah. It's
absolutely wonderful. I mean just all the way around 360 degrees. It's just fantastic.
well,
So
and the fact is, you contribute and participate. So don't shy away from the fact that when you're contributing, that's how you connect. And that's my
yeah.
philosophy. In terms of, when people have called me a networker, and I cringe because networker kind of implies, oh, he's a glad hander. He's collecting people and all of that, and that's not me. Even though some people think it's me, and so I came up with the concept. I didn't invent it, but it's a good concept. Contribute to connect, and when you're always contributing, it's the connections just are exponential. I'm looking at people on this call right now. David Hurwitz and James Hilliard. They can speak to this firsthand, not because I taught it to them, but because I've ingrained it in their brains, and they're doing it. They were doing it before they met me, but they already had they had the connection, the contribute to connect DNA in their blood, as you do too, Scott. But it's so rewarding to see stuff take hold. I mean, it's funny. I just got a beautiful email from David. I connected him to a large company to do some copy for, and he comes back to me. I'm going to share it, David. Sorry, but he comes back to me with a beautiful email saying, Brian, I don't know if the stuff I gave them will be any good, but and I know you vouch for me, and so you put yourself on the line. And I said, I meant it, David. So I'll say it. I said it in email, and I'll say it verbally. It doesn't matter, because I know who you are. And if the copy was the worst copy ever, which it isn't, I'm sure, it doesn't matter because you got to pilot something. My reputation will not be scarred by me recommending you to a good contact at a big company and your copy doesn't work. That's not gonna, that's, first of all, it's so insignificant to me, but it's so meaningful to you whether they accept your copy or not. And that's what's important. Because my life, not that anybody cares about my life, but my life is currently about mentoring, and it's about, you know, educating and learning by teaching. And so, no reason for you to feel any remorse about whether your copy gets accepted or not. So I just want to say it publicly. And and you went out there boldly, and that's the most important thing. You have the confidence to go out boldly. And James, you're like, I mean, James is on fire. I mean, he is like every month he puts out an email, and I'm not saying any people should get on his email list for this, but you can. I think it would be useful. If can I do that, James? Can people get on your list? And what he does is he is basically doing an account. I'll call it an accountability to himself email that goes out to his core email list. I'm sure it's a lot of friends and family and people who he's worked with and clients, and he sends it out. And this is very Gene Schwartz like too. It's like it's connected to the boot camp because James basically says, "Look, you know, it's sort of like I think there's a David Ogilvy quote that says, you know, if you can't sell yourself, how do you expect to sell anything else?" And it's something like that. And so James is saying, if I can't be accountable to myself, how can I be accountable to my clients and everybody else? So he's like, and he puts it out there. So then it becomes a declaration. You know, and when you put it out there, it's bold, just like David was bold with his copy to this client. And I just love seeing that because it takes courage, you know. It's the four C's. Dan Sullivan talks about the four C's. And the first C is you make a commitment. The second C is courage. And Dan Sullivan says courage is a shitty place. He actually says that. But if you get through the courage, then you get a capability that you never had before. And that enables you to make another commitment. And so I'm just calling these people out because it was relative to Stephen, it was relative to Scott, and I figured we had a couple of minutes, so I do a little coffee with Kurtz there and just share what's going on in my email and with the members, and I'm basically I'm full of love. That's what I'm full of, and I'm full of coffee too. I might have to go pee soon, but in my Titans Accelerator mug.
It's because the Yankees finally broke their losing streak last night.
Yeah, but I'm not a Yankee fan, despite the Mariano Rivera poster on my wall. I'm a Met fan. But Mariano Rivera is my favorite player. Different discussion for a different day. If you've been on my blog list, you know what I'm talking about. But if anybody wants to hear the Mariano Rivera story, we can do it during office hours. But I'm going to turn this over to Chris because we got a lot to cover today.
Yeah. So today we're looking at taking the work you did from yesterday, or maybe some of you are still kind of getting going with identifying the mass desires and scoring them across the three dimensions, urgency, staying power, and scope. But we'll be taking that work, and the next step is learning how to think about what our products look like in action. Gene calls it what's the performance of the product, and it's really kind of if you really break it down, like it's another way of thinking in terms of the features and benefits of your product, and then matching those outcomes with those desires, and so it's kind of a cool approach, and it's why we broke up these two sessions just to dedicate enough time into each one.
Do you want to go over the homework from last night, if anybody did it, and any epiphanies, or do you want to do that later, Chris?
No, we can take a few minutes if there's any feedback or questions or any surprises.
And again, we're not taking attendance, and we're not gonna shame you if you didn't do your homework. But
yeah, I mean, if anybody has anything to share,
yeah.
If anybody has anything to share from the homework yesterday or questions or anything like that, we can take a few minutes on that right now if you want.
Hey, Chris. Oh, go
Hey,
ahead.
George.
You can go ahead, George.
Oh, sorry, Scott.
We'll go George and then Scott.
Yeah, Chris, this might be a general question, I think, and I'll raise it for this purpose. It's very easy to keep digging deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. When do you know when to stop in terms of the underlying desire?
I got an answer for that.
Yeah.
But you have an answer too, because it's come up before. First of all, you never stop. I mean, you knew that was coming. Because the thing is, you're always on an inquiry with your audience. You're always, because your audience is changing all the time. So you have to keep going deeper and deeper and deeper. However, that doesn't mean that you don't get to a certain point where you can test something. test the headline, test the copy approach. So you don't want to have, it's like paralysis by analysis, or you get you research till forever and you never implement. That's not what I'm saying. But basically, that's why the exercise is so good, because you can keep asking the question. It's sort of like when those of you who have little children or who had little children, it's like why, and you keep them an answer why, and it can get that gets annoying, and you want to slap your kid around, not literally, but the other side of that is there's always going to be something, and the thing is, it may come to you in the shower, when you didn't have it yet. So you have to keep thinking. So you're always on the inquiry, is what I'm saying. But that doesn't mean that you don't stop, pause, turn around. It's sort of like, when I talk about, Dan Sullivan and the gap, which I'm not going to go into, but the idea that you, at some point, you want to, you're in the game, and instead of keep looking at the horizon, which you never get to, you can walk to the horizon, you'll never get there. You need to turn around and say, okay, where am I? How much have I explored here? And how much can I adapt right now? And sit down in a blank piece of paper using the Pomodoro method, which we'll talk about on call number 6, and get writing, and don't just sit there and say, I can't write until I get the answer of the core desire. You may be there, you may not be. Chances are you're not there even after doing this exercise a few times. How would you answer the question, Chris?
I mean, I think I don't think I have much more to add than that. It's just it's a constant journey and process, because you're always learning based on feedback from the list, the audience that you're interacting with, and then also just how you'll come up with an idea for a promotion or a new angle. You'll test it, you'll get that feedback, and you'll compare it to things you've done in the past. So I think, just in short, like, I think what you shared is
but also it's not that you have to invent either, because as Chris just said, you're going to keep asking them. They'll tell you, and so you have to keep that dialogue going. And I was explaining, it was during my workout today, so I try to talk to my trainer so I don't think about the pain that I'm in. And so he says, he was asking about, just, I don't know what the conversation was, but it was, I was talking about, I lost my train of thought. Anyway, let's go to Scott.
Yeah, Scott.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on the prompts that you supplied, and the fact that you've integrated, leveraging AI as part of this boot camp, which is, I believe, the first time on that. And just, this morning I was going through the materials from yesterday, and that first prompt, I mean, I spent a lot of it was just such a fantastic prompt, and there's so much value, because I kind of scratched the surface on Perplexity months ago. I mean, maybe like a year ago, and I haven't gotten back to it. So it was a really good thing to get back into it, because I've traditionally been using ChatGPT or Claude.
Yep.
And having that as part of the research component was just very helpful. I mean, I could spend a week on what the results were on this prompt, just kind of going through all of the sources that it linked out to. So it was just really good. I just wanted to thank you for that.
That's great.
Yeah, it was that was really great, Chris. I just remember what I was going to say. It was, so I was on a live cast with Kim Walsh Phillips, who's a really good online marketer, and she brought 30 different marketers onto the call. It was a live cast, so it was live, and each person came on live, and she asked us each one question, and she didn't want us to think about the question in advance, or she didn't give it to us in advance. And the question was, how do you use social media in your business? And so I thought a little bit, which is rare for me. Usually I just speak without thinking, but I thought a little bit, and I said, I use social media to attract people to my email list, and then I romance them. That was my quote. And so it's relative to what George asked about talking to your audience. You can't keep talking to them in social media. You can. Yeah, you can keep posting in Facebook but getting them in, and that's why email is still the killer app. Yes, email service providers can be cruel sometimes and they'll cut you off, but you can always get back on. If Facebook cuts you off, you don't know if you're gonna get back on. Or Amazon cuts you off, you don't know if you're gonna get back on. So, email being the killer app and I think it's important to bring that up here because that's where once you have your audience and you're starting to develop your online family, you're starting to develop you get some buyers, you get people who are attracted to you because they know, like, and trust you. That's when the research just begins. So going back to George's question, how deep do you go? Well, you go this deep, you go deep to here, and then you test and you do some stuff, and then you start developing a relationship with them. I always say everything's not a revenue event, but everything is a relationship event. So anytime you're contacting them, you're enhancing the relationship in some way, and that's going to add to getting to their core desires. And I think the quote from Jeff Walker yesterday was really good. I forgot that was even in the boot camp about that everybody's looking for transformation. That's really what people are looking for. Even with a mastermind, we talk. I have the line. People come for the information in a mastermind, but they stay for the inspiration. And inspiration comes in many ways, through the community, through people helping each other, which has nothing to do with guest speakers, speaking eloquently on some topic. That's good. The information is good, but you really want the connection, the experience, the interaction. Ben Settle, when he talks about email and he talks about open rates being overrated, and open rates are more overrated than ever before today because, you can't even get an accurate open rate with iOS and all that. So you can't even get a good open rate. You can get relative open rates. That's what I do. I get my open rates every week. I don't think it's a real open rate. I get like 70% open rate. I don't think I'm getting 70% opens, but if it's 70 one week and it's 68 the next, I know it went down a little bit. I don't know if it's a real number though. So, but what the key is, it's engagement rates. It's engagement. It's like how many people are responding to your emails? Are you asking questions in your emails to get feedback? Chris already said this when he answered the question, but you want to have that dialogue all the time. And that's when you'll get to the next level of what they won't tell you or what they can't tell you. To get to what they can tell you is nirvana. You don't get there easily. You can't get there easily. What they won't tell you, you can get to. What they can tell you is like that. That's when you hit pay dirt, and you're not going to hit pay dirt with just cursory research.
Yep. Golfin?
Hey Chris, appreciate that. So I had a question. So I was going through the desires yesterday. So just some context. So we have like a sleep supplement offer, help people sleep. So the desire, right, was obviously going to sleep without waking up in the middle of the night. That was like the service level desire. I'm a bit confused whether these would class as desires, like, finding a natural product that doesn't, impact them long term. Is that a desire in itself? Or like, for example, a different one would be like, okay, let's just do that example. Like, would you consider that as a desire, a natural product?
Yeah, because there's a subset of people that, they don't want to take synthetic
Yeah.
chemicals and put that into their body, and so they want better sleep, but they want to do it with natural ingredients. And I would also be thinking about like what does better sleep get them?
Yeah.
The next
Exactly.
day. So what is it they're trying to
Yeah.
what is bad sleep preventing them from achieving?
So they can.
Exactly.
That's the so they can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. So the desires can be like results of that initial desire. For example, like sleeping through the night. A different desire could be like getting more energy, right? Because they
Mhm.
slept through the night.
Yeah, and
Yep.
so it could go, and then it gets to the ones like so they can
Yeah,
be a better parent, because
Hmm.
they'll be more attentive to their kids, so they
Yeah.
can, you know, not go bankrupt because they're not paying attention to their business because
Hmm.
they're sleepy all the time. I mean, that's where you get to the what they won't tell you, what they can tell you. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you got to start somewhere, and you started at the
Yeah.
right place, I think.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Appreciate that.
yeah,
Yeah, go.
yeah. You're
Uh,
on it. You're on it. Good job.
Thank you.
Renee, and then we'll hop into the presentation.
Hello, thanks for the lesson so far. So what I did, so I did the exercise, and what I do, like I did IT and finance consulting for for big corporations and banks mostly, and I then switched to freelancing, and now want to switch more like to smaller companies and offer that. So why I joined this class, very short notice, just I think 1 or 2 days before it started, was because I was just like at this point, I tested something with Facebook ads, and then I realized, okay, this offer obviously is shit and doesn't work. I need to dive deeper into this. So when I did the market research, so I picked a specific niche. Right now, it will be e-commerce companies that have scaled to a certain revenue, like the classic 7 or 8 figure range. And so for me, the issue right now is also I realized I have this in my head when I did the market research yesterday. So one angle I could take is come from the IT processes and systems side, and the other one is could be coming from like organizing financials side, which more or less is like at least for me, like anyway, like there will be a big overlap. Do you have, when you do market research, like this in mind, like when you have different angles that like basically lead to the same product, like 80 or 90% will be the same because they will need both of those things. And do you have that in mind when you do market research? Because I tried to use the prompts a bit, and I gave them like double things, and some answers I got were more valid for like a better IT system, and some answers were more valid for like better overview over their financials.
I mean, for freelancing, you know, if you're looking to work with a client, I mean, I definitely have in mind of like the things that I know that I'm good at. Like, how can I, like, what are the skills that I have that I know that I can step into something and make a difference? You know, for me, that's going to be, you know, like I'll think, you know, writing copy of some sort, sales page, putting offers together. For you, it would be thinking about like, what do I know about myself and my skills and my expertise that I think would benefit some of these companies. And I think that's, as a freelancer, a really good place to start to have your research kind of focused on those pain points and trying to find, with your set of skills, like entry points into those pain points, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah.
I
But
mean,
for the
identify like what your there's an expression I learned in Strategic Coach called unique ability, and to get to your unique ability takes time. It takes a lot of research, but play with it. You know, what is, because I think Chris is right. I mean, the answers will come from the audience, and then you have to do. I understand that they could be coming from on different areas, and then you're trying to merge them, but to merge them into where your expertise would be most useful for their pain points, which is what Chris said, would be the sweet spot for you.
Mhm.
You're not going to get there immediately, you know, because
Okay.
you're getting all this, you're getting a lot of noise from the data that you're getting. Because again, you've had these careers, you've had a corporate career, and now it sounds like you want to go more to either a smaller companies or entrepreneurial type companies, if I understood you correctly.
Yeah, basically want to shift back from the big freelancing projects, which are nice and they bring like stable revenue, but they are always through a third party. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
just
you
want to
wanna
like go
control your
directly
destiny.
to,
Yeah, you want to control your destiny more.
yeah.
And that,
You know,
Go ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
Go
I
ahead,
was gonna say, one of the things you could do just came to me, you know, whatever research tool you're using, let's just take Perplexity. Because you can use the prompt I gave you, you get the output. But that doesn't have to be the end. Like it's an ongoing conversation. So, you do that, you get the output, and then you could say back to Perplexity, like, hey, here's what I'm really good at. These are the kind of results I get. And I'm looking for the best entry point into helping the kind of businesses and companies you just told me about. Can you give me some ideas about specific ways that I could help them? And you'll get back ideas from there as well. So that's another option for you is just to keep that conversation going inside of your research tool.
Yeah, that's valid as well. Yeah, I used Perplexity a bit more after you told me. I had like some professional subscription gifted to me a while ago, but never used it much because I trained ChatGPT on me all the time. But it seems Perplexity is a bit more better for this task. Yeah, I will definitely take that advice.
Yeah, and I just thought about this right now. On the free version of Perplexity, you get 3 like deep research searches a day, I believe. So if you do use Perplexity, there's just a little toggle switch at the bottom of the search bar where you click on research and you put it into deep research mode. And so if you didn't do that and you were using Perplexity, you could go back and see, because it'll dig a lot deeper in that mode. So I didn't mention that yesterday. I just thought about it.
I will try this after the call again then.
Yeah. Play around. We've got office hours too. We can go further into this as well. David?
Thanks. I just wanted to say I was amazed at the AI's ability to come up with can't tell benefits.
Yeah.
I figured these are something that we're not consciously aware of. How is a computer going to do it? And they really sound, I can't be positive, but they sounded incredibly likely. So I am certainly a new convert for using this stuff for more than just, sifting through scientific papers. So thanks for suggesting that we use AI to do this, because this really changed a lot about how I think about the possibilities.
Yeah, you're welcome. I agree. I was interested in that myself when I was putting these together, and was running a bunch of different tests through it before I put it in the slides, and it was coming up with those can't tell options, and I was like, that's pretty good. All right, I've got a couple videos today, so I'm gonna make sure sharing sound. All right, Brian, you see my slides?
Yes, I do.
Awesome. Okay, so today we're diving into channeling the mass desire toward our offer and product, and this is a theme. I'll always bring us back to this quote. I think it's a powerful concept that Gene said: "The copy is written, or a copy is not written; it's assembled." And so that kind of leads to this idea of building your copy assembly line. So this is what we did yesterday, where we spent time thinking about, what are those mass and dominant desires that actually create the market that you're going to serve. And then today we're going to talk about how to direct that desire toward your solution that you're offering. And then our next call, we get more into the states of awareness. So how much does the market know about their desires? And then next week, market sophistication, where we're looking at the competitive landscape, and that really impacts how we show up to the market as well, because we want to stand out, and we don't want to remind people of an ad campaign they saw from a competitor of ours. Gene actually calls those echo ads. If you're just doing like fill in the blank style template copy, a lot of times people will start to recognize sort of the copy template, even if they're not copywriters. Like, oh, how to do X without XYZ. they start to recognize those patterns. So today is about, let's see, I need this to go. Today's about playing matchmaker, and we're playing matchmaker between the dominant desire and the specific performance or benefit that your product produces, and we're connecting that outcome to show how it satisfies a specific desire. And this is probably one of my favorite sessions to teach, because I think it really does connect a lot of the dots from yesterday's session that was really focused on the market desires and the assignment that you guys did. So today we're kind of taking that next step into how do we start to come up with different marketing angles and actually help our audience see exactly how our offer or solution solves their problem, addresses their desire. And one of the things that Gene says, we're still in chapter 1, right? So one of the things he says in this chapter is that your product, it's going to appeal to a bunch of different market desires, but you can really only focus on one dominant desire, and that's where he gets us to, the dominant desire has to be urgent, has to have staying power, and it has to be shared by a lot of people, which is scope. And so we've got the dominant desire, and we want to direct it toward our product, and we want to showcase that our product or our offer does a better job of satisfying that desire when compared to any other alternative. And what I like about this, you go back to what Brian was talking about yesterday, the three-legged stool of marketing, where the success of any promotion comes down to 41% is in the list, 39% is in the offer, and then 20 is in the creative. And I really appreciate that even in this process that Gene has, we're starting with the market first, and then we move to the solution that we have for it. And I've been guilty of this, where I get an idea for a product or an offer, and I think it's going to be great, and I just want to go out and sell it without actually, I'm in love with my own idea, sort of thing. But I appreciate this about this process, is that we're starting by really trying to understand the pain points and desires of the market. And this is a slide from yesterday. I just bring it back up because this is where we left off. And it's the question of, okay, once we've done all this work and we have some ideas about what we think the dominant desire is in the market, how do we begin to channel it toward our product? And I like to give a little disclaimer, because these next few slides, they're pretty text heavy. And I did that intentionally because you're going to get these slides, and I want you to have a really good documentation on what this process looks like, so you can go back and refer to it. So I just want to call that out because you're going to see a lot of text on these next few slides. So this is the process that's documented in Breakthrough Advertising. So I'm gonna go through it, and then I'm gonna show you some examples of different ads that I think do a good job of doing this to help sort of make it real for you. So when you're channeling mass desire onto your product, the first step is what Gene says is you're choosing the most powerful desire that can possibly be applied to your product. And every product appeals to 2 to 4 mass desires, but only one can dominate. And then you're taking that mass desire, you're choosing it and picking the one that gives the most power in all 3 dimensions, what we talked about yesterday. And what you're trying to do is tap into this overwhelming desire that is in the hearts and minds of the people in your audience. And
this speaks a little bit to Renee's question about, he was getting, tell me if I'm wrong, Renee, but it's like you got multiple what you thought were powerful desires. And that's not a bad thing. But now Chris is going to give you an exercise to narrow it down. I didn't realize that we were leading into that. So yeah, I think that's what you were asking, right, Renee?
Yeah, it's basically that I have a bunch of desires figured out,
Right.
but some fit more one product and the other fit more the
Right.
other.
So this is going to be this is going to make it real for you. Go ahead, Chris. Just wanted
Awesome.
to point that out. We answer your questions immediately in the boot camp. I just want to make that clear.
Yeah, yeah. So the part of step 1 too is you're calling out that desire in your headline. And Gene says that, choosing the desire that you're going to focus on, is the most important decision that you're going to make for your ad. And so that's step 1. Step 2 is that you want to acknowledge that desire, and reinforce it, offer a means to satisfy it in a single statement in the headline of your ad. And I love this visual that he gives. He says the headline is the bridge between your product and your prospect. And so it speaks directly to someone based on, where they are in their current state of awareness, like where they are today. And we'll get more into the states of awareness on our next call on Friday. But because that's a part of how we put our headline together as well. We have to take that into account.
That's far more intellectual than what Bill Jamie says. Bill Jamie says the headline is the hot pants on the hooker.
Yeah.
But we won't go there.
All right. Fair enough. That would be a different type of slide.
Different boot camp completely.
That's right. You're right. So continuing on with step 2, what Gene says is that if you've got a prospect, and this does kind of get into the states of awareness. So they're not aware of your product, but they are aware of their desire. Like they know that they want to satisfy a desire or solve a problem in their life. Then your headline is going to start with their desire. If there's somebody that, they're not sure of what they're really seeking, but they kind of have a general feeling of their problem, then your headline, what you want to do is have it start with the problem and crystallize it for them. Because what you find a lot of times is that people, if you can give words to something that people feel inside, that, they have a general discomfort, but they haven't taken the time to like, what is this? Like I know I'm not sleeping well, going back to Gulf from, your product that you're offering. But they don't really have a lot of knowledge or information on how to solve that, or really even thought about how it's seriously impacting their life and their performance. Maybe they just know they're tired, but they're not thinking about like it's impacting their job or how they are showing up for their family, and maybe getting super angry at their kids and they feel bad about that, but they don't connect it to their poor sleep. They just think maybe this is just the way life is. And so you're offering them a different approach and a different solution that they haven't heard before. And you do that by crystallizing and helping them identify the specific problem that they have in their life, and then showing by doing that you get their attention, and then you can show them what your solution is. And then the last step 3, and then I'm going to show you some ads after this, is you take the series of performances, and Gene uses the word performances. You can think of it as, features and benefits, but it's your product that's in action, how it performs for the customer. And so these are performances, they're built into your products, and you want to show your prospect how those product performances inevitably satisfy their desire. And if you can even show that the natural outcome of using your product is this thing that they want, I think it's even more powerful. Like if you just follow the recommendations of, if you take our sleep supplement, after 10 days, this is what you're going to feel. After 30 days, this is what you're going to feel. And all you have to do is take this natural supplement, and, it's not giving you all the bad stuff that was, concocted up in a lab somewhere, because it's all natural. So I've got a few ads I want to show you. The first one is talking to a market that is, they're aware of their desire, but they're not aware of your product. And this is in the health space. Brian, I'm sorry I had to cut off your head in this one, but this is, just get jacked and ripped in 30 days. Like that
was right after today's workout. It wasn't like that before. Yeah.
I appreciate you sending it over. Get jacked and ripped in just 30 days. Like this is straight up desire. Like if you want to look like this guy, if you want to, look like him, get there fast, 30 days, your triple threat training plan, the best results in 30 days. Like it's not even really mentioning the product. It's just leading with the desire of, and this is going to get the attention of people who want to look like this, and even that language. And obviously, it's speaking directly to men. So this is not an ad that you would run for women necessarily, unless, I don't know, we're going back to the Bill Jamie thing, but this is just straight up desire, and this is another ad that kind of is the same thing. This is a hypnotist, and I think what's interesting about this is that here's a skill that this guy has. He knows how to hypnotize people, but what he's doing here is he's targeting people who suffer from anxiety, right? So there are all kinds of different ways to solve your anxiety problems. There's medication, there's meditation, there are all kinds of tools. People probably aren't necessarily thinking about hypnosis. And so what I like about this ad is it's taking this awareness of, I want to stop feeling so anxious, and it's introducing a new way to solve that. And the image here is great because it's showing proof that, like, here are all these people that are under his spell, or, no offense if you don't think of it as a spell if you're a hypnotist, but under his hypnosis power. And then you've got, these 5-minute subconscious rewiring exercises, stop anxiety and overwhelm. So it kind of hints that 5 minutes, it's not going to take a long time. And I think this is a really good job of channeling a desire to feel less anxious towards this specific solution of hypnosis, because, like I said before, there are many different options for people who want to address their anxiety problems. And then the third example I want to show you, this is for a market that would be aware of their problem, right? So this is an interesting ad where it says, don't spend another holiday season alone. And this is for like a retirement community. Again, there are a lot of different ways that you can promote and sell a retirement community. You could talk about all the different activities that you have. You could talk about the luxurious accommodations that you have, but you want to pick the strongest possible case that you can make. And as you get older, your kids grow up, they go off, they start families of their own. Maybe you don't see them as much. As you start getting grandkids, your kids or your family, especially if they live far away, like loneliness is a big problem, a big pain point as we age. And so this is speaking directly to that problem of, maybe your kids aren't able to come home during the holidays, or if they do, it's for a day, and then they have to go off and see other families. So it's speaking to that problem of loneliness and not having a place where you feel like you belong. And they're leading with that. So don't spend another holiday season alone. You'll love it here. Our apartments are newly renovated. And then you've got this great image of somebody with the heart sign. So I thought this was a really good example of, speaking to somebody who's aware of their problem. And then another one I want to show here. I tested this morning. I think I'm going to have to come out and just pull it up on YouTube. But there is this, this is a product for people who suffer from back pain. It's called Chirp. Some of you may have heard it, but basically if you're somebody with like a tight, upper and mid back, sometimes what you want to do is you just feel like, I just need to get some relief from the tension in there. And so this product, Chirp, they make these different size wheels, that, the smaller the wheel, the more intense the pressure is on your back. The bigger the wheel, it kind of disperses it a little more. And there's no talking. And this is an ad that came out back during kind of the height of the ASMR craze that was going on. If you're familiar with that, if you've seen those videos where people are like whispering into the mic and they're doing their nails on it, and people talk about getting the tingles when they do ASMR. But this is like an ASMR ad, but also speaks directly to somebody suffering from back pain, and they don't want to go to a chiropractor for whatever reason. So I just want you to see how this product demonstrates itself, and the sound you're going to hear if you suffer from back pain. That's the sound of relief. And I did get one of these, by the way, so that's why I'm showing it to you.
I'm Maddie, and this is my Oxfit XS1.
And this is an ad that I wanted to show you for Fit. No, I'm kidding. Let me do that. And you can see, even as that ad was playing, they in the lower left corner, they said this is FDA approved. So they're addressing some objections there that you might have if you don't feel confident about doing any kind of self treatment. But I thought that was a really powerful ad that didn't use any voiceover or anything like that. It was just people who, when you hear that sound, you're like, oh, that's what I want. I want to feel that. So. Let me get back over here. And then another video. So let me set this up real quick, because first of all, is anybody ever, you don't have to answer maybe in the chat, but they're searching Italy, or Searching for Italy is a series that Stanley Tucci did on HBO, is where I originally saw it. I think it's on a different network now. But I was watching this a few years ago, one evening, and it was actually during a boot camp. And there was this scene that I'm about to show you where he visits this farmer, and they grow these specific types of tomatoes in Italy. They're called San Marzano tomatoes. And, this is not a salesperson, this farmer, but the way that he talks and describes the tomatoes, what I found is I'm a low key foodie, as my kids would say. So I enjoy the gourmet foods and trying new things. Not all the time, but it's fun to kind of connect to really, really good food. I really like that. And so when I saw this bit, like, I found myself not thinking at all about San Marzano tomatoes before seeing this, and then. After I saw this, I looked at Bethany, my wife. I was like, okay, we got to get some of these tomatoes, and got to see what the rage is about. And so that weekend, like, we were making pizzas, and but it immediately channeled this unspoken desire that I had for trying new and interesting foods. And so this is a short clip, and all I encourage you to do is just kind of pay attention. If you're not a tomato fan, I'm sorry. This probably won't connect with you as much, but if you are, and if you're into interesting foods, just kind of pay attention to what goes on inside of you. Like, if you find yourself, thinking, oh, I'd like to try. I wonder what these tomatoes taste like. They look really delicious. And then the other thing is HBO, YouTube, Hulu. These places, they don't like you to stream their videos on Zoom. And so what I have to do is I'm actually showing you a video from a past boot camp. So that's why you see me right up here. And because I made that change after we showed this. But let me pull this up. And I think this is just a couple minutes. Make it bigger. I think this is as big as I can make it. So play this.
On the top left, Chris.
So, if you're going to make the greatest pizza in Naples, once you have the best mozzarella, you need the perfect tomato. There's a place whose name is whispered in awe by pizza fans everywhere, from Brooklyn to Bangkok. And Enzo is taking me there.
Adesso andiamo a vedere il vero San Marzano, che tutto il mondo ci invidia.
As a pizza lover, I only ever buy cans of San Marzano tomatoes. And now I'm heading to the promised land. although I hadn't quite expected it to be a small farm under a freeway.
Vai, va!
We're meeting Enzo's special supplier, Uncle Vincenzo. Behind his rusty gates, I'm reminded that here in Italy, treasures are to be found in the most unlikely locations.
Stanley, questi San Marzano sono così speciali. C'hanno una buccia sottile attaccato, un succo gradevole e un'acidità in fondo, che è qualcosa di unico che si va a sposare con la mozzarella.
Non è troppo acidità?
Non è troppo acido,
No.
non è troppo zuccheroso,
Sì, sì.
è equilibrato, è anche succoso.
I've eaten San Marzano tomatoes all around the world, but the bright, balanced flavor of these is like nothing I've ever tasted.
Esiste un vero scandalo del San Marzano, ne ha parlato pure in un'inchiesta giornalistica del New York Times. È il pomodoro più replicato al mondo, ma in realtà il vero San Marzano sono pochi 150 ettari, non sono tanti.
That's it.
E basta!
Non ce ne sono più.
Perché sono nel tutto il mondo
Di
milioni di
tonnellate.
scatole
E tutte
che
false.
dicono San Marzano, ma non sono.
Ma non sono San Marzano, no. Questo è il San Marzano. Allora,
Lo so, ma io non posso andare qui ogni giorno.
e che vuoi? Un prodotto di qualità. Stanley, è possibile avere un gioiello per tutto il mondo? No.
Yeah, no, impossible.
So
What a salesman, right?
I know, and I think it's just his passion coming through. I mean, it's the things that I love about that video is I love when they squeeze the tomato and that juice comes out. They're describing it. He's not too sour. It's sweet. But then they get into how all the cans that you see in the grocery store, they're all fake because the real San Marzano tomatoes, come from this little spot in Italy. And then, the objection comes up. Well, I can't, Stanley Tucci's like, I can't come here every day to get that. And he's like, what can I do? You can't have a gym everywhere in the world. And, so obviously when I went out and got these tomatoes, I went to the grocery store and I was like, well, I got to settle for that because I'm not going to Italy to get these.
There was we did a supplement at Boardroom, and I think it was a joint supplement of some sort, and we were dealing with a doctor and a formulator, and they kept on telling me that it had a lot of ingredients that were things you can get anywhere. But there was one ingredient apparently, and I researched it a little bit, and we did put it in a promotion, that there's this one ingredient that could only be gotten. So I was looking at that little farm under a highway. This ingredient can only be found in a certain cave in Africa. And it was like, I don't know, Nigeria or something. And so if you can make the claim like that, that's the differentiator. Even in a commoditized product, tomatoes are a commoditized product. This supplement was a commoditized product. Now there are a lot of people that'll make it up, and that's deceptive. But if you can, I don't know, if you can come up with, a way that if you're a farm in Nebraska, I don't know where they grow tomatoes in the United States, but let's say it's in Nebraska. You're growing tomatoes in Nebraska, and you can make the case that you learned from Uncle Vincenzo in San Marzano near Naples. That could be good enough. And so, but it's like to be able to get that differentiator is so critical in your copy, in your headline. Every San Marzano tomato in the world is fake except ours. You can make that claim, you're going to set yourself apart. I'm not saying you can do that easily. I'm not saying that it's doable. I'm just saying that's what I was thinking about in watching this. Plus, I was thinking about that ingredient from the cave in Africa as well.
Yeah. I mean, there's kind of two things with this video. There's the takeaways for salesmanship and how you talk about the uniqueness of your product. And I think, for those of you like me who watched that and you're already thinking, I need to update my grocery list so I can try these San Marzano tomatoes. That you get to, my hope is that some of you got to experience that feeling that you want to generate in your customers of, awakening this desire that you had no awareness of before seeing that video, and you're already thinking about when's the next time I can try. And now that I know this about these tomatoes, I want to see if I can, tell the difference between them and any other type of tomato. So it's kind of twofold for showing this video. So back to breakthrough advertising and the specific things Gene's talking about. One of the things he says in chapter 1, when talking about channeling desire, is that every product you sell is really two products. So you've got the physical product, which is what it is. So the steel, the glass, the papers, and you can think of this as your features. So this is what the product is. And then you've got the product in action, which is what the product does for them. So these are the benefits that they get from using your product. And on the physical product, Gene says that it doesn't sell. The physical product can only justify the price of your offer. You can use it to prove that your product can do what you say it can do, assures performance. The physical product can sharpen the mental picture of the product's performance. And then more specifically on page 9 in the book, he says, no physical part of your product can ever become a headline because no one will buy the size, weight, or careful construction of a product. Rather, it's the performance of your product satisfying the mass desire of your market that provides the selling power of your ad. And this is still on page 9. And this is what we've been talking about. So he says your first task then in studying your product is to list the number of different performances it contains, then group these performances against the mass desires that each of them satisfies. And then finally, feature the one performance that will harness the greatest sales power onto your product. And I go back to this thing I shared earlier of thinking of your ad as a bridge. And so as the marketer, as a business owner, where you're going to start. You're starting with your market. You're understanding what their desires are, whether they're aware of them or not. Like you're researching. This is what we did yesterday. And then where you want them to end up. So you want to lead them towards deciding that your offer, your product, your solution can address and satisfy their desires. And so you're really building a bridge with your copy, with your ad. You're building a bridge for them to by connecting that performance of your product and showing how it satisfies their desire. And Gene, I think this is on page 11 of the book. He breaks down. It just takes a product of a car, and he starts listing out the different features and benefits of a car, and your performances and benefits. So what the thing does, and then what you're going to see is in red. I added potential desires that this can match up to. So, for example, a benefit of a car is you get transportation. A performance of the car is or a feature, you get transportation. The benefit of that is you get the ability to go anywhere, and that maps back to a potential desire of a feeling of independence that somebody may have in the market. Or you could have a feature of this is an economical car, so you're going to have gas and oil savings because of the way it's built, and the specific ways that it burns fuel. And maybe a potential desire that this would map to is you're going to have freedom from constant repair bills. Another one would be power. So power you make sure you get to your destination quickly. And so maybe you could connect this to a desire of think about how much more you can get done in a day. If you're a delivery driver or whatever it is, getting to work faster. We've got a car that can get to your destination quickly. It's powerful, and you can get more done in a day. Another one would be recognition. So you get a nice, more kind of luxury car the benefit there is you're going to get admiration of others, and that could connect to desire that you probably don't want to say out loud, but it's connected to status, feeling superior to others or your neighbors when you pull that new car into the driveway. And then the other thing that he talks about is you could have a car that focuses around novelty. And you see this, as we get even today with like self-driving capabilities. But back then it could be having maybe a certain way that the suspension works, that it offers the smoothest ride. There's that famous David Ogilvy Rolls-Royce ad about the loudest thing at 60 miles an hour is in a Rolls-Royce is the clock. And so, this could, if you're somebody that you like to have that thrill of being the leader, of being the first to try something new, and that shows up big for you in terms of like the desires inside, this would be something that you could connect to that desire. And so, desires are in red. Page 11. I was right. Cool. So if you want to, and Gene, and he goes into much more detail when he breaks this down. So I kind of gave you a summary version, but if you want to go and just read his explanation on page 11 in the book, definitely encourage you to do that because there's even more depth there as you hear him break this down. So channeling mass desire, what Gene says is, you're asking yourself two questions. So what is the outcome of using my product? It's the product in action. And then does that outcome map back to the dominant desire in the market? And so this is the process. And this is going to be our exercise. And I've got another prompt for you on this one as well. But this is what Gene talks about towards the end of chapter 1 about how you actually begin to implement what he's talking about. So you start by listing the features of your product. So that's, what it is. And then you're going to justify why each feature is included. And you'll see we ask that just by having a question of like, why is this feature included? And you'll answer that. And then you're going to describe the result of each feature. So what does this feature give me? And that gets to the benefit. And so I'll give you an example here. You guys are familiar with Breakthrough Advertising Mastery. So a feature of Breakthrough Advertising Mastery is that at the end of each chapter, we've got exercises that you can do. And those came directly from this boot camp, but we've got them for every chapter, all the way through the end, all 14 chapters. So there are exercises at the end. That's a feature. And a benefit is that by doing those exercises, you become an implementer instead of just a fan of the book. So you kind of take on this identity and this role of being an action taker, and that feels good. Like if you want to feel that about yourself. And so then we drill down even further. So we start thinking about what's the benefit of the benefit, right? So you're doing these exercises, you're an implementer, you're an action taker. What's the benefit of that? So the benefit of that is realizing like you can't profit from breakthrough advertising unless you implement it. Like just reading it is not going to do you any good until you put it into action. And so then what does achieving or not achieving those benefits feel like to your prospect? And then what market desire is most satisfied by each benefit? And I'm going to show you, I'm going to go a little bit deeper into Breakthrough Advertising Mastery so you can kind of see, because you're almost like building a logical case for somebody of making your case of, I know what your desire is, I know what you want. I've got something that helps meet that desire, and I'm going to prove it to you by showing you the benefits that you get from it, and connecting that back to showing you how that actually satisfies the thing that you want. So if we take breakthrough advertising, you could say a mass desire for this market, and this is a lot of you guys too. It's probably a big reason why you even signed up for this boot camp. Is I want to make a good living writing sales copy. Some version of this, right? A more dominant desire would be like, I want to reach this goal as fast as possible, and I want to avoid mistakes so that I can earn more money and have more freedom in my life. So I want to get better at writing copy and doing persuasion. I don't want to make unnecessary mistakes. I want to get there as fast as possible. And so then how do you take those two and begin to channel the desire towards a product like Breakthrough Advertising Mastery? So I kind of think of it as, I always think like, what's the premise that I can start with, and that we can all accept. So Breakthrough Advertising, it's the Bible of copywriting. There's plenty of proof and testimonials and things that I can show to back that up. So if that's true, then it follows that learning Breakthrough Advertising will make you a better copywriter. But, and here's the problem, it's a harder book to understand. It's the word we always use and we hear from customers. We just make up the word dense. We hear that from customers. And so we started using it. So it's a dense book. We're using their language. It takes time. So it's not fast. You've got a dominant desire that you want to get there as fast as possible, but here's a book that takes a lot of time. So Breakthrough Advertising Mastery is this companion study guide. It's got practice exercises for every chapter. The exercises show you how to use the ideas from Breakthrough Advertising. And what this means is that you can start using the Bible of copywriting faster to improve your skills and earn a good living. And the way that we break this out into this worksheet that I'm going to give you is we start with our product over here. And you can see like I've got a bunch of different features for Breakthrough Advertising Mastery. So you've got your product, and then like I just start listing individual features. So we just did this one, but yeah, I'll just go through this again since it's highlighted. So it's got exercises in each chapter. Why is this feature included? You have to practice the concepts that are taught in the book so you can internalize them. You have to build your marketing muscle memory. And then what is the benefit of this? So what's the benefit of having these exercises and being able to do them? Well, you can become a doer of Breakthrough Advertising and not just a fan. What's the benefit of this? What's the benefit of the benefit? A Breakthrough Advertising practitioner is the only person who can master the material and profit from it. Otherwise, you're just a collector of fine marketing books. And this next part is you, and you can go even deeper. So you can do the benefit of the benefit of the benefit, but I stopped here. And I should mention, this is an interpretation of a worksheet that came out of Titans Accelerator. Kim Krause-Schwam is an A-list copywriter, amazing person. If you're not on her email list, definitely get on that. She puts out a lot of great material and training products on how to write better marketing and copy pieces. But we took this and I adapted a little bit for Breakthrough Advertising. But this is one of the things that she had is like, is you think about, if you put yourself in the position of your customer and you think about like, man, what if I could think of myself as somebody who's actually using Breakthrough Advertising? Because so many people talk about it, but very few people actually get through it, and even fewer people actually implement it. Well, connect that to like an emotion, like what does that bring up? And so I start thinking, well, that could this marketing message would bring up feelings of maybe I feel better than other copywriters. I feel superior. There's also a fear of, I spent this money on this book, and if I'm not a practitioner, I just wasted my money. So there are all these different emotions that come up linked to the benefit. And then you try to think, you go back to those desires that you had yesterday that you were working on, and try to match it up. This is where the matchmaker idea comes in. So is there a matching desire that kind of falls in line with this train of thought? And so the one here is, I want to, but back to that dominant desire of, I want to reach my goal of making a good living as a copywriter or direct response marketer quickly. And so speed is sort of the matching desire there. And so that gets us to our assignment. I'm going to go through the assignment, and then I'm also going to show you the prompt that I have for you, and show you how I am using it in my dog ACL injury research. So this is the assignment. You're going to pick a product or service that you have. Again, set that timer for 10 minutes, and you're going to start listing out the individual features what the product is, and then your performances, what it does, and then you're going to start to map those performances to the dominant desire that each of them satisfies. And this is where you'll go back to your list from yesterday to get those. And then what you're doing is picking that performance desire combo that you think is the strongest, and you think it based on your knowledge of your market, the research you've done, the time you've spent, talking with customers and getting feedback and response data from past offers you've made. But you're trying to figure out like what is the perfect combo that I can then go out and test to the market. And this can be as simple as testing the idea in an email that you send. It's very low hanging fruit. You don't have to go out and spend a bunch of money on Facebook ads or anything like that. Like you can quickly test and iterate and just kind of see are people, if you wrote a post or something, are people clicking through to read your ideas, to show for you to show them this new way you've got of satisfying their desire. And then here's the prompt that's going to help you do this. This is super small. I did get all this on one slide, but basically you're always telling AI what it is. So act as a marketing strategist trained in Eugene Schwartz breakthrough advertising, and then help me break everything down into features, performances, matching desires, so I can identify a compelling way to channel mass desire onto my product. And then it takes you through the steps. And I'll just call it a couple things here just so you're aware. So in this step here, it's going to ask you a few questions when you put it in. So it'll say, what's the product name, niche, market, short description. And then it's going, just based on that, it's going to spit out features for you. It doesn't know anything about your product. But what I put here is, ask me because it's going to come up with ideas for features, and then it'll ask you, do these look right? Do you want to add or remove any features before proceeding? And so you'll have a chance to input the features that you come up with for your own product, and then it's going to move to the next step where it's helping you. Answer like, why is the feature included? What's the performance, the benefit of the benefit, the emotion, the mass desire, and then it's actually going to come back and do some scoring for you across urgency and scope and staying power. And so it might be even easier for you just to kind of see this and how it played out. So this is the prompt. So again, if you weren't here yesterday, I've been researching the dog market because my 9-year-old dog Hank tore his ACL a couple weeks ago, and we met with the vet. We're in the process of following this protocol to see if it can heal without surgery, because surgery is like crazy expensive. And so anyway, it just gave me this idea of like, oh man, I bet there are a lot of people who deal with this, and there are. And so here's my prompt, and put it in just as I showed you on the slide. And it says, perfect. Here's the 3 things I need from you. I need to know what your product name is, what your niche is, and then a short product description. So I've been playing with this idea. Right now, the product is called Heal at Home. It's a guide to healing your dog's ACL injury without expensive surgery. The niche is dog owners who want to avoid ACL surgery for their pets. And so what it is, the description, this is a digital guide. It walks people through a 4-week recovery protocol, step-by-step instructions, supplement recommendations, support devices. So I give it that. Then it comes back and it says, based on your description, here are 3 core features. So it doesn't know anything about my product, but based on my description, it gave me these 3. And then it says, are these the right features? Do you want to add or remove any more? And, this is a new product. It's not even developed yet. I just got an outline. So I'm going to keep these, that's a feature. It's 4 weeks supplement. It's just what it is. But another feature is, we're doing these mobility exercises with Hank. our dog, and trying to get movement back into the joint. And so part of what I'm going to have is easy, simple mobility exercises you can do without the fear of injuring your dog further. So it's like, okay, great. That's a fourth feature. We'll add that. And then it confirms, like, are you happy with these four? So I'm just going to say yes. We keep going. And then it starts giving me the breakdown. So this is essentially what you just saw in that worksheet. So it takes all the features. It gives me reasons for why the feature is included, which, you want to go through these and just make sure that it's accurate, or you might want to update it if you've got a better idea about why that feature is included. What's the possible benefit? What's the benefit of the benefit? What's the emotion that these benefits kind of could stir up for somebody? And then, oh, I didn't mention this. Let me go back up real quick. So right here at the bottom, I say that you want to match up the desires. And then I said, use the desires listed below. And if no desires are listed, identify potential desires that I can research. So I did have desires from what I showed you yesterday, which is I just want my dog to walk again without pain. I want to avoid spending 5 to 10K on surgery. And I want to feel like I'm doing the right thing for my dog. So I gave it these desires that came from the exercise yesterday. And so now it's taking those and it's saying, here's the feature, here's the benefit, here's a potential desire that this matches up to. So you got a 4-week recovery protocol. And the benefit is you can confidently help heal your dog at home without relying on expensive vet visits. This could match up to the desire of, I want a plan that I can trust, not just another brace that doesn't work, right? So this is somebody looking for proof, which is where hopefully my story would come in, as I did this and this is the outcome. So I'm kind of in the middle of this. Supplement recommendations, natural support for healing, so you can speed up your dog's recovery safe and naturally. This could connect to, I want to feel like I'm doing the right thing for my dog. And, again, this is what AI is giving you. You want to sort of pressure test that. And so like you can go back in and say, actually, I want to add these other desires. Can you redo this? So this is not like a static thing written in stone. Like you get the output and then you have further conversation with it. And then the next step, it's going to go back to scoring on urgency, staying power, and scope. So let's evaluate the strongest performance plus mass desire combo using these exercises. So it's looking back up at this combination of matching desire and feature and benefit, and then it's scoring them based on urgency, staying power. So I just want my dog to walk again without pain. Is this an urgent feeling? Probably so, because if you're a pet owner, you love your dog, like you just don't want them to suffer. So you want it done like yesterday. I want to avoid spending 5,000 to 10,000 on surgery. I would actually put that at a 5 of not wanting to do that, but staying power, scope, they've got it at a 5. So you can kind of go through and just see if you agree with the output. And then it's going to give you just, some recommendations on, hey, here's a potential, hook or angle you could take. So, if I was going to do a blog post and run some traffic to it or an ad, maybe I test this, help your dog walk again without surgery, fear, confusion, some supportive copy. And then what I always like is, would you like help turning this into a full ad, email or sales page or lead? So at this point, you could give it some feedback. You could say, hey, I like this idea. I didn't really like this idea. Let me give you some more information. And this becomes just a dialogue with AI. That's really how I use it personally. And so this to me is just like having a chat with somebody, and we start brainstorming. But this gives you kind of a really good place to start and to get there quickly and give you something to react to.
Chris, I just want to point out, first I want to give you props, because this is such a good example. And I feel bad that your dog's having this issue, though.
Yeah.
But the fact that, and the reason why I love it so much, I don't love the fact that your dog has bad knees, but I do like the fact that it's so specific. Like it's such a narrow niche. So I'm not saying you have to have a narrow niche to do all this. You obviously can do this with any product or service.
Yeah.
But the fact that you've got look at the depth of what you got from something as narrow as, knee problems for a dog. I mean, so I think that hopefully that inspires the boot camp here to know that this will just should energize them as they go through this exercise. It's really powerful. Plus, the thing that's always been in the boot camp, your dog just has this problem recently. But what's always been in this is a new example. But what's always been in the boot camp is this scorecarding. The idea of putting number values to each of the things, which is a technique that, this is something, again, I always refer to Strategic Coach because Dan Sullivan is a master at this. He scorecards everything in his life. Like everything is a series of things across the top and what the attributes are at the bottom. And he scores everything, either 1 to 5 or 1 to 10. He gets a total score and then he adapts. He's not writing sales copy, but he's creating an entrepreneurial life for himself based on the concept of scorecarding. So why shouldn't you scorecard, the product or service that you're gonna invest in real money to sell and distribute in the world? So I just love the example, and which is a new example, and I love scorecarding, which has been part of the boot camp from day one. And I think someone said that. Rebecca just put in the chat. It's the combination that seems to have switched over the value. It's not just you can't look at anything one dimensional. Dan Kennedy says the most dangerous number in business is 1. So even here, you can't just go with one thing. So I love the interactiveness of the scorecard on such a narrow subject, which is a great example for everybody to learn from. So nice job, Chris.
Yeah, thank you. And then this, so before we had all these AI prompts, and this is the original worksheet where all this kind of came from. And I'm going to share this because I encourage you to go through these examples. So, here's the working sheet where you can fill that out if you want. And then here are just a bunch of examples. So, Breakthrough Advertising Mastery is in here, and then we've got Titans Accelerator, and then this is one that Kim had that I borrowed from her, where she was working on a solution for an air purifier. So let me put that in the chat, and then I'll stop sharing it, and we can chat because that's what I got.
So we're open now for questions, comments, sharing, anything that we talked about today. And then, as Chris and I said, we'll stay on longer to answer any other questions you might have. So we turn every discussion into an Ask Us Anything, but let's focus first on, today's presentation. Nice job, Chris, again. And give us your thoughts, impressions, questions about how you think that any stumbling blocks you see in doing your homework. And you can't say my dog ate my homework because he was stationary and had bad knees. That's not a good excuse. I had to do that. I had to do that.
Is it Golfum? You've got your hand up.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That was super helpful. Just one quick question.
Can you turn your video on so we can see you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, how are you?
Doing good. Doing good. So, obviously, I'm the guy with the sleep supplement offer. So, if we had that sleep supplement offer, say the mass desire is you can hear me, right?
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. So, they go into sleep, and the mass desire that I've got, for example, is I just want to sleep through the night again like I used to. So the issue is they wake up in the middle of the night. So say we have the features in the I'm guessing the ingredients, right, in the actual product. The not not like the benefit, like the physical feature.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ingredient.
Say, for example, the benefit of the ingredient is like it helps him sleep, right?
Okay.
How would that differ? How would that differ from the desire? Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, for example, say the feature is like I don't know, the special ingredient that's here, and that increases like your, I don't know, it lowers your cortisol levels, basically, helps you sleep, right?
Lowering your cortisol levels is the benefit.
Lowering your cortisol levels is the benefit. Okay. And did you talk about the benefit of that benefit?
Yeah. So why does it matter if I lower my cortisol levels? What's the benefit of that?
Okay,
And it's not just it helps you sleep better. So you want to think about, cortisol is a stress hormone. So what happens in the body when there's elevated cortisol? It keeps your mind active at night. So when your cortisol levels are reduced, that's the benefit. The benefit of that is that your mind, I'm making this up. I don't know your product.
Yeah.
But your mind is less active at night. And that then leads to the desire that you have of wanting to sleep better.
That's awesome. That's perfect. That's amazing. Thank you.
That was a good answer, Chris.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Good question too. Good question.
Is it Nils or Niles?
You got
Nils?
it right first time, Chris.
Okay, fantastic.
Nils is my brother from another mother.
Hey, Brian, good to see you. Thank you so much. It's been awesome boot camp so far. I'm a business coach, and I struggle a little bit with the features that are part of my thing. I use a business operating system. If you're familiar with EOS, it's the next generation 2.0 of EOS, evolution. And so there's a specific rhythm and, series of things we do with clients, but are those the features, like the actual meetings or doing with the leadership team, or how do you conceptualize?
I have a question just first on the EOS 2.0. I don't know the answer, so I want to know. Can you customize, or are you restricted based on, that you're working within your company? Are you restricted by what you can teach within it, or can you freelance within EOS 2.0? Because if you can, we probably can brainstorm a lot of features.
Yeah, so EOS itself is a rigid one-size-fits-all.
I know it is.
Here and you go here, and there is no deviation from the plan. Pinnacle, the EOS 2.0, is 100% customizable for that reason, because EOS did nothing of that, and they haven't evolved their toolkit in 20 years. And we said, no, you need to evolve your toolkit constantly, and you need to be able to adapt to the company. So we are 100% customizable.
So, Chris, what do you think about features? How he can? So you're looking to find additional features, or what is the question again? Because I just want to.
What are the features in themselves? Like, it is not a physical product, right? It is it is an experience. It is a bringing together of the leadership team. It is tools that are used in order to do that. There's 80 plus tools, right?
Yeah.
Those, I guess, could be features, but it seems a little too detailed.
I would think about it like, how do you deliver a result for somebody? So what's your process? So the first step is we do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
That's a feature. This is what we do.
Okay.
This is the benefit of doing this with us, because you're going to get more clarity or whatever it is. When you have more clarity, it allows you to do this, the benefit of the benefit. And then you match that to, let's say the desire is, I want to double revenue in the next 3 years or something. That's how you're going to get there faster, is, taking this first step, benefit, and then what else is your process? So I think it's more in the consulting arena, it's like breaking your process down.
Good. So the first thing we do is a 2-day base camp where we align the leadership team and do a series of things to get everybody to do exactly what you said. Clarity is that piece, and then there are benefits come out of that. Then every quarter, we do a day with the leadership team to review the past, plan the future, look at the big picture, and we do that cycle until we do a 2-day annual event. And that's kind of the series of meetings that we run with the leadership team to double revenue in the next 3 years, exactly like that. So are those big events, those things, those are the features based on what you, this discussion here?
Well, maybe depending on like how you're selling. So if you're selling like one thing and it comes with all that stuff,
yes,
then maybe. But if you're selling, say like you're trying to get people to the event, then I would do this anyway. Is like take that 2-day boot camp. Like what are the features and benefits of that thing? Like why would somebody want to come to that? So what do you do inside of that boot camp? What do you do inside of your big event? So I think you can go even, I mean, yes, those are features that you offer, but even inside of those, to really kind of hone in on like, this is why it's so important for you to come to these.
Yeah, for sure. And that 2-day base camp is the start. And if they only sign up for the whole thing. So they get a 2-day base camp, and then we meet every quarter, and then we meet for 2 days at the end of every year. And we just let it rinse, repeat on that cycle. So it is kind of that entire encapsulation piece. Okay, so I can focus on those as the features and then drill into the benefit of all the pieces on the clarity, the planning, the alignment, the execution, the results, the scorecards, etc.
Yeah, because I think like you're inviting somebody into a system to achieve a result. And so you've got to then explain like, this is what our system does.
Yeah.
And to get people into it. And, you know, the reason that you're not achieving X, Y, and Z is because you're focused on the wrong things. Like you're putting out fires all the time. You don't have a process for HR or whatever it is. And so these things are getting in your way. And if all you do is just let us come in and take that off your plate by following this system, let me tell you why this system works so well, and then introduce proof as well for other people that it worked for.
Yeah. Mills also, Eddie was in my private chat, and then he said, oops, because he wanted to put it in the public chat, because it's a really good point. Nils, you are a feature. That's from Eddie.
Oh yeah.
You are a feature.
You're the big feature.
Yeah, he's the big, right? Because that's what I guess I asked the wrong question when I said, are you locked into EOS 2.0? Because I guess what I was really trying to say is, you know, you can customize, you can personalize.
Yeah.
What about the personalization of Nils? Your experience. I mean, you've got a lot of coaching experience. And so, yeah, that was a brilliant point, Eddie. I'm so glad that you shared it with the group. I would have shared it anyway, regardless.
Thank you, Eddie.
Thanks, Eddie.
Sure. Sorry.
No, that's a great point. That's a great point. And I forget that sometimes. And so it's a good reminder.
Because, you know, you're working for like you're under an umbrella.
Yes.
Just because you're under an umbrella doesn't mean you can't go out of the umbrella and get wet, you know.
Right.
And getting wet is not a bad thing in this case, you know.
Yeah.
And,
that's right.
So and all of the other coaches within Pinnacle are not going to, you know, again, you're not competing against them. I want to ask you that too. You're not competing against them. So, you know, why, but still, it's sort of like, it's not a perfect analogy, but when Joe Polish, those of you know who Joe Polish is, he basically owned the carpet cleaning industry. And he owned it because he got all the carpet cleaners to come to him, and he taught them all of the same stuff that was, you know, direct response marketing. And then they went off to their carpet cleaning companies in Des Moines, Iowa, and San Diego, California, and Vermont. And they are competing like with other carpet cleaners, but none of them were in Joe's group except the ones that were in Joe's group. So he goes and he basically talk about an unfair advantage.
Yeah.
I mean, going as a carpet, that's why I was talking about what was my question should have been, what's the commoditization factor, if there is a commoditization factor, of your EOS 2.0? And the answer is it's not a commodity because you can add features based on who you are, what you know, and then Eddie, put the emphasis on that you are a feature. So and Joe was a feature of the carpet cleaners, or at least all of he sent the carpet cleaners home with 1,000 pages of ads and you could just, in that case, you could just rip them off. Told them to rip them off because none of the other carpet cleaners had that.
Yeah.
Think about, it's not a perfect analogy, but if you think in terms of that, I think you'll expand your mind a little bit to start coming up with features that you haven't thought of yet.
Yeah, 100%.
And then you get the benefits too.
Yeah,
so,
I love it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I don't just.
Yeah, it just expanded my thinking just when Eddie said, you're a feature.
Yeah, I don't mean to speak out of turn. I do think you're the ultimate feature, though, Nils. Especially any coach, any trainer, anybody that's teaching information. I mean, it's become such a information is so, especially with AI now. I mean, there's a huge commoditization of it. So I think when you lean into your style and your approach and the way that you break things down and the way that you deliver things, as a trainer, as a coach, it's really, I think that's the ultimate differentiator. So.
Yeah, I just want to quickly plug your book, Eddie. What's the name of your book again? It came out recently.
Oh, you don't got to do that, Brian. That's okay.
No. What's the name of it, though, just so you have it?
It's a very good copy.
Very good copy. So Eddie's a copywriter. He's going to be speaking at Accelerator at some point. So I just wanted, he's legit. So everybody here is legit. I shouldn't say.
Yeah, we're all legit.
We're all legit. Eddie is a legit copywriter. So.
Cheers, Brian. I appreciate you, man. I didn't mean to speak out of turn. I wanted to.
No, you're not out of turn. Not out of turn. I guess we'll go to Ricardo. Thanks, Nils. I hope
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Hello, that's my turn, right?
Yep, it is.
Okay. So the question is in the book Breakthrough Advertising and in the course now, we want to link the mass desire, channel it towards our product. I mean, of course, I know it can be done, but have you used it to actually invent or understand which kind of product can be needed by the market to then actually go and seek it out or create it rather than have it and link it?
To start from scratch with the mass desire and then find a product to solve it, kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like just having a product and wanting to link it to the mass desire, but let's say that, I want to actually understand my market better, what they need, and also which product they might need.
Well, you need to pick at least a couple of different markets that you'd like to go after, just in terms of based on what you've done in your life, based on your skill sets. I always say that, this will be a good analogy, I think. So when I went out on my own after I left Boardroom, I took on some consulting clients just because I wanted to get a sense, and I don't do a lot of one-on-one consulting anymore, but I did a lot of one-on-one consulting. And the first question that I asked a consulting client was, the first thing we did an exercise, which I called assessing your assets. And everybody needs to assess their assets all the time. And that's where, again, you don't want to start with an offer or creative. You want to start with the market or the list or whatever. However, you can't just say, look, if you found in the marketplace something that was a void and you wanted to research it with no experience in it, that's a good way. That's one way to go. But it's always better to start from within, because you definitely have, I think I remember you from email, Ricardo. I think you're new and you're starting to, you don't have a business yet. Was that you?
Can I understand? Can I actually, this what you were explaining, it's super important. Actually, my question was a bit different, meaning, of course, I want to do something else other than what I do now, but I decided now to start and do this process on my already existing activity. I'm a MD and I'm a psychiatrist.
Uh-huh.
So my service, I mean, it's like actually having like visits with patients.
So you want one-on-one, right? You're
Yeah,
in a
one-on-one.
one-on-one, getting paid for your time.
Yeah, but I would like actually to expand and offer different products.
Mhm.
Okay, I mean, I know already I could do courses, I could do like groups. Still, I mean, I would like to use the process here to also envision new things I can offer my patients or clients. Not only, I mean, I already have a service, right? I mean, that's what I'm doing. I mean, how to use the process to offer something different that they don't have it or know yet.
Yeah, so actually I misunderstood because I thought you had nothing and you were going to just like try to let the market tell you to do something. You've got something and you got something
Yeah.
that I think you like to do.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay, but you want to make it more like to do. You want to make it more rewarding. You want to make it more, you want to fall in love with it and you're not in love with it, but you still have a skill. And I think if you're starting, look, you don't have to, some people like to, just pivot their whole life. It's one way to go. But if you don't have to pivot your whole life and be able to work from your existing skills, your existing experience, and build on it, you absolutely can use this process to do that. And it gives you have a head start, more than a head start. You have an established business, you probably have degrees, you probably have credibility, you probably have people that know, like, and trust you, who you can build on and survey and find out what you bring to them. Just to, go on the inquiry that we talked about in both episodes of the boot camp. So, and there's a lot more to come. So we're not done with you yet, believe me. But there's a lot more to come. But I think just these 2 sessions, I think you should be like, your mind should be like, you should be like dreaming about all the things you can. I'm not saying you are, but I think this opens up so many possibilities. I don't know what the possibilities are. You got to decide that. But yes, you can use this process for within the business of being a psychologist or whatever you do.
Okay. No,
Chris,
what
you
I
want
meant,
to add to that?
Yeah, just really quickly, like I think this boot camp is an example of what you're talking about. So like we already had this product breakthrough advertising, but we knew from customers they wanted to understand and implement it, and they were unsuccessful, and we would hear from them. And so we created this product that you're on right now to help address that desire. We created Breakthrough Advertising Mastery. I used to sell in the alternative health space, different products. And one of the things that we would hear back from customers is, and as older customers, like they hate having the number of pills that they have to take every day. They hate it, chalky pills. So we introduced a tea product that could replace some of those supplements. And we offered that as a solution, not saying throw out all your pills and vitamins, but this is natural, organic, good stuff. So those are a couple examples that came to mind as you were talking, that once you understand like what your folks are looking for, it's just then about what are their problems and how can I solve it?
yeah. Okay. Thank you, Chris. I wanted just to clarify something to Brian. Yes, you do remember me well from the email. I mean, I'm also looking to pivoting to also something else. So I mean, my questions in the mails were about that. But I mean, I decided to take this program and apply it to my actual present activity. So I mean, I want to just
nothing's forever. So if you
No,
find
what
that
I
you
mean is,
apply it to your current business and you don't like what you find out, or it doesn't float your boat, as they say, you can use it to explore different markets. It's more difficult working not from your expertise or your experience, but it's definitely doable.
No, yeah. I mean, I wanted to say that actually, from what I understand, and I mean, it's like Chris said, is like, I mean, I want to find the holes like in the road for my, I mean, I think actually McCarthy said it, like in the road for my patients or client, and then offer something
Right.
like for that. Okay. Thank you very much to both.
I hope the boot camp is helpful for you now and as we go.
Super love it. Thank you.
Thanks, Ricardo.
David?
Thanks. This was great today again. A specific and a slightly less specific question just about the homework and the process. Nothing that pertains to me. So I get that with this worksheet that we're doing today is very analogous to what we did yesterday. This is from our perspective as the business person. Yesterday was from the perspective of the market and the customer. And so we're matching at the end of each line of the worksheet, we're looking to match the desire that we elicited yesterday. I'd imagine, is it the case that some of today's benefits of the benefit should also be matching up to yesterday's so I can. Or is it just kind of if they happen to match, be identical, they are. If not, that's cool too.
Yeah, I think it's that can happen. There probably going to be overlap.
Right. I guess I'm assuming that if the more they overlap, the better job we're doing at matching our offering to the market. Or am I thinking ahead too much, or just thinking too much? Period.
I mean, it may not be that cut and dry, but like if you happen upon, an overlap, it'd be worth, going back and maybe pondering that a little bit more, like what we're kind of talking in generalities, but yeah, like if you had something that overlap with a benefit and the so I can, that would be something that I would explore, like what else could I squeeze out of that?
Yeah. Okay. And I think Brian said this earlier, but it's okay if we want to go a few levels deeper with the benefit of the benefit of the benefit.
Oh yeah.
Not just I think
for sure.
Yeah. All right. Fabulous. Thank you.
And also on your first question, I think that sometimes because Chris has set up the templates and it is a worksheet, I guess you can become a slave, and it's fine because they're good worksheets and they definitely get you thinking, but don't be a slave to it either. It's sort of like it's just a template to help you work through. Because if we didn't have those worksheets and the homework, then it would be more theory. And I think Chris, by doing the worksheet, he developed all the worksheets himself. Chris gets most of the credit for creating Breakthrough Advertising Mastery, because he felt that, to be able to give people, not just in the boot camp, but anybody who reads Breakthrough Advertising, a way to like visualize. But it's not, I guess what I'm saying is nothing is written in stone, right? Everything can be revised. Everything. So I don't, but use the worksheets as a starting point, but your creativity is your creativity. And if stuff overlaps, great. If stuff doesn't overlap, great. But get it all on paper. If it's just swimming around your head, I mean, that's the reason why we have the templates and the worksheets. Because if you write it down, it makes a big difference. And you can see it. I mean, when I'll go back to my point about assessing your assets. I mean, I didn't go to a client and say, assess your assets, and we just talked about them. I made them write them down, and it's a simple thing, but, writing things down makes a big difference than just thinking about them. So I guess that was a sales message. It was a sales point for the worksheets and a way to get beyond the worksheets as well.
Thanks, Dave. Wes.
Hey, Wes.
Hey, what's going on, Chris?
Hey, man.
Great session today. So I've got kind of a two-part question for you.
Okay.
One, do you ever know before you launch it that you've tapped into the right desires? That ever that aha moment, like this is it, this is that strongest desire? Or is it more like you really only rely on data, the feedback, to know whether you've done that? So that's the first part of the question. Second part is, how much of it is desire testing? Because like as somebody who's a marketer and media buyer, I'm always testing angles, headlines, and leads, but how often do you go back and test out a different desire or a different way or channeling a different desire?
The first, I mean, there certainly offers that I put out that I have a really good feeling about that I think are going to work. Sometimes I'm wrong. Um, so I wouldn't say that I ever like no. That probably has more to do with me and my personality. Like that's just not something I would say. I would always want to hedge a little. So I wouldn't say I know, um, but I would say
I had a slide once in a presentation, and it said, I have predicted with 100% accuracy every single test I've done in my 40-year career once I have the results.
Yeah, that's right.
So, it's all about the market, Wes. And if you're a media buyer, you know this. I mean, I think you knew the answer to your question when you asked it. However,
Yeah, I'm
that
just
doesn't
battling that thing in my head that wants to be. It's like when I'm
You
doing the
want the
research,
big
I
idea,
want to
right?
find the thing,
Exactly. But that's fine. It's not a bad thing to feel like that. We're not saying you're wrong. But the thing is, it's so funny because I used to go to the creative meetings at Boardroom, and we'd have a whiteboard, and we put all the creative ideas down and all the headlines and all the tests we were going to make. And I consider myself a decent marketer. I've had a good run in my career. I I I was never good at picking stuff in advance. I used to call, and I used to do it because I wanted to see. My track record was awful. Not in terms of finding creative tests that worked, but picking the one that was going to work. And I think we have a tight. I don't know if David Deutsch is going to do this, but David Deutsch, and Paris Lampropoulos, who you'll see in this boot camp. There are copywriters that do a lot of which one won. Paris has that in one of the videos we're going to show you in an upcoming call, and he has two after he talks about the benefits and all of the levels of sophistication of a market, and he shows you two magalogs with the covers. And he says, which one won? And you look in the chat, everybody in this group is brilliant. We're all brilliant marketers, right? Half the people are wrong. And that's after we have the results. So, so but what I loved about your question was the enthusiasm for your ideas. And it's okay to fall in love with your ideas. The problem is if you fall in love with the idea and then it doesn't win, you say it's impossible. That was the best idea. There's no way that shouldn't have won. And then you keep testing it in different iterations, and that's how you throw good money after bad. The audience will tell you if it's a good idea with their wallet and their credit card. I hate to put it that way because I'm not always about the money, but you're a media buyer. You got to make every medium that you sell pay out at some point. And so that was the first. What was the second part of your question?
So I'm always testing angles, headlines, feeds, but rarely do I go back and shift the desire that I've once it's working a little. But do you ever shift to another desire and see if there's more scalability?
I don't think you ever stop testing. I know this is a simple answer. You never stop testing. Dick Benson, who was my guru in direct mail, and he wrote a great book called Secrets of Successful Direct Mail, which on my book page for Over Deliver, I have a full PDF of that book, and it's still timely. It's all about direct mail, but he has these 31 rules of thumb, and two of his rules of thumb were one that no one spends enough time on lists, and that was in direct mail, but it's true today. That's why I started the boot camp with the 41-39-20 rule, and also he says no mailer, and this is back in the 80s and 90s when direct mail was king and everybody was testing like crazy. He said no mailer tests enough. And those things are still true today. Now, the thing about testing, whether you're testing into a new desire, whether you're testing into a new feature or benefit, I don't think it matters as much, but that you need to test, and you need to test intelligently. And so online, what happens is you do tests that aren't statistically significant. That's the biggest mistake people make when they're testing. They don't get enough data on both sides of an A/B split test that tells them this one really won the test. I tell a story in my book Over Deliver about I did an online test, the first launch I ever did online, and it was I was in the launch. Like we were launching these two creative tests, and it was like $100 product, and we had and the guy who was running the launch for me obviously was not a good direct response marketer, said, "Hey, test A has 9 more orders than test B. We have a winner." I'm like, "Really? 9 orders?" And I won't tell you all the other details, but that's not statistically significant. So the thing about testing, as far as what you want to test, you need to think that through. And that comes out from some of the things we've talked about today. But I think that, testing is a whole concept in itself. But I can keep going on this tangent, but I won't because I'll bore you. But I do believe that nobody tests enough, but nobody tests the right things. Gordon Grossman, who's my other direct mail guru, says he had a great expression. It says, "Don't make tiny tests. Don't make tiny tests." So if you're going to test something, make it big. Big loser or big winner. Indexes of 110 and 120, like 10 or 15% lifts, they're helpful, but they're not the things that are going to explode your business. I'd almost rather get an index of 70 on a test so I know I can throw that out, never deal with it again, and look for the next 30% lift. And in those creative meetings at Boardroom, we spent a lot of time when we had the whiteboard and we would put the ideas up, and I would ask the question at the end of the meeting, how many, we had to ask it every time because everybody's like falling in love with their idea. I've got the best idea. And they put it up on the board. No bad ideas in a brainstorming meeting. By the way, there are bad ideas in a brainstorming meeting, but you have to say there are no bad ideas in a brainstorming meeting. And so everybody's putting their ideas up. And I would always ask the question, we go through each idea, and I said, which ones could give us a 30% lift, realistically? That doesn't mean we wouldn't test something that could give us a 10% lift, but which are the big ideas? And that's what I heard you say. You're looking for the big idea. I think you should always go for the big idea. I mean, read Todd Brown on that. He's wonderful. He's like the guy I read the first time about, the big idea. There's a lot of people that talk about
I study his stuff too.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. But good questions. I mean, your questions, you got me going a little bit, but I think that your question was, what testing out of different desires. It's bigger than that. It's just testing, statistical significance in testing, and getting the most out of your test by not testing tiny things.
Yeah, I got that. Thank you.
Thanks.
Wes.
Good questions.
Iran, hey, I remember you from the last boot camp.
I remember
Yeah.
you, Iran.
That's great. How are you?
Good. How are
Good,
you?
good to see you, man.
I'm great. So my not question but request, like, can you walk through again like the difference between the mass desire and the dominant desire? Like, how would you differentiate the both?
Yeah. Hang on. It's easier to show, like, let me find where my slides go. Hang on.
And to those of you who are still on the call, thanks for sticking with us. We'll stick with you as long as you want to stick with us.
Desktop 2. So I think of it, this is how I think about it. Like the dominant desire kind of is a subset or follows from the big mass desire. So it's like the big desire here is I want to make a good living as a writing sales copy. The dominant desire is, I want to reach this goal as fast as possible. So immediately that puts somebody who just says, I want to make a good living writing sales copy. That's surface level. But then if you find the niche of the market, it's like, I'm serious about this, because a lot of people will say they do want to make a living writing sales copy. But the serious people are like, I want to avoid mistakes. I want to get there as fast as possible. I'm hungry because I want to get there. I want this additional freedom in my life. Like that's what I perceive I will achieve when I get there. And then yesterday we gave the example of, somebody, you've got a market like, I want to learn to play guitar. A lot of people want to learn to play guitar, but if you drill down, like there's this hungrier, stronger desire of, somebody who has wanted to play guitar for 30 years and, put it on the back burner so that they could, focus on their job, raise a family, and now they're nearing a retirement. And it's like, oh, this is the perfect time to do that thing you've been wanting to do. So the more dominant desire is that I want to be able to invest and enjoy things that I've been putting off my whole life in my retirement. And so it's the way that and if you go back to the exercise, you take the so I can ladder, that exercise. It's like I want to make a good living at writing sales copy so I can have more freedom in my life, so I can be my own boss, those things. So I think it's like combining the thing they say they want with the deeper meaning to kind of come up with a hunch of what that dominant desire could be in the market. So that's how I think about it. It's sort of like there's a subset of people who share a dominant or who share a mass desire, but there's a subset that are hungrier. They want it more than others.
So it's like it's more specific, crystallized, deep, like the meaning behind it.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
And also, if it, I don't know, this might be blasphemy, so tell me if I'm wrong, Chris. I might be wrong about this, but it can change too, right? I mean, if you identify a core desire, maybe you can it's possible you could find another one as you continue your research, right? Or no?
I mean, yeah, why not? It's because it's what we were talking about.
Oh, the
earlier.
constant inquiry. I did. Yeah, I did say that. Yeah.
Yeah, with George's question at the beginning.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Is that right, Iran?
Yeah,
Just
that's
to
right.
jump in. Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
Thanks, Iran.
Thank you.
Welcome back too.
Wes, are you saying something?
Yeah, I was just piggybacking off Iran's question real quick. So is a good way to kind of surmise that is that the mass desire is almost the surface level desire, and the dominant is like the core, like the deep down desire. Is that kind of a good way to think about that?
I think it's fair. Yeah, that's a fair assessment.
Okay, that was all.
Okay.
Hey, Tommy, how are you?
I'm good. I have a couple questions quick. I'm thankful. What a class. And I wrote some letters I'm really thankful for and appreciative. So even if I can only make this one, it's already been a winner. So fantastic.
Thank you, Tommy. That means a lot. That means a lot to us.
Yeah. So here's what I'd like, kind of quick. I rate the letters, I do my thing, and then I put it in, and then I evaluate them. I say, give me a grade, use the metrics, and then they, say, hey, A, B minus. I go fix that shit, and then it goes boom, and then I get it, right? But then I do multiple passes with different writers, and I'm looking for who might be great. So I said, I'm Eugene Schwartz, and I've just read this letter, reevaluate it, and give it grades. And then I go, I'm Nancy Harhut. Look at this and evaluate it on using the research and the sites on what's missing. I'm David Ogilvy. I'm Robert Cialdini. Who are your fantasy writers outside of Schwartz that I can put in to perfect the letter?
I'll give you a bunch, and Chris might have some, and maybe people want to put some in the chat. There, definitely Gary Halbert, definitely Dan Kennedy, Gary Bencivenga. I have some more esoteric ones. I don't know if they'll show up, but if you want to do bullet writing, Mel Martin, who you probably might not have ever heard of. I like Jim Rutz, who was a different kind of writer, like more of a narrative type writer. Bill Jamie. I'm giving you like a variety because
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
you want to try some different things, it sounds like.
Well, I like to take them through and see if there's something I'm missing.
Yeah, because you'll get something that it may pick up on something, right?
Yeah, and
I
so
like that idea. That's a great idea.
I mean, I can show you how I do it. I'll send you a copy because it'll take too long, but I'll send
Yeah,
you
yeah,
my
yeah.
link so you can see my feed of what I did.
And you won't be on another call here, but maybe we can share that with the group.
Yeah. So I'll do that. I'll send it. But then here's my next question. I make really good products and I mean, my stuff really works. The challenge is I fall in love with my own crap and I name it wrong. So I'm training financial advisors that make 700,000 or more dollars, 700,000 to $18 million a year. That's the range in the last. I had 52 people in a class 2 weeks ago. So they come in class and those people don't think they need sales training or even influence, but they would probably like more, the benefit of the benefit is significance, making their life matter. They're not bored anymore. I tell them, you don't really hate your business. You hate your clients, change your life. So that's kind of the theme of it. I decided that what I was going to do is sell niche training, not sales training, not influence. Create a niche because when you have a niche, people find you, you don't look for them. What do you think of that premise?
Niche is a magic word for me. So you're preaching to the converted on that. I think that, and that's why I commented on Chris. Chris ended up with, dog knee problems, and look at what explodes out of that. Everything is a differentiator then. I think highly of what you just said.
Okay, so I want to run one more idea. Can you turn on so I can show you a visual?
Oh, yeah. I got what you're saying.
I don't want to stack your deck. I mean, like take up
Go
your
for
time. I'll show you one thing and then I'll send you something. Again, I'm so appreciative. I turned my program using AI. I'm the world's largest collector of baseball bobbleheads, so I have a quirk. And I train
have a
in
museum of them.
Yeah. So here's what I did. I did this class and I made it the ideal client multiplier machine. And all through it, the visuals are people that have made millions of dollars, me being their coach. This is Quentin Hartner from Shreveport, Louisiana. But I got a machine, it cranks it out. And then on different pictures, different concepts, it's kind of with this theme. So is this too sophomoric? Is this creative and breakthrough, or am I a child and I'm diminishing a product?
What do your clients think about it?
Yeah, exactly. What do your clients think about it?
Well, here's the deal. They were sold before they saw it. So I got great feedback. In fact, we're taking pictures of we've signed, the people that were in it, 12 of them that were highlighted. I just took these and signed them and sent them to them as a gift. My question is, what's your gut say?
My gut would have said it's a little sophomoric, but I don't give it. It just shows you what I just say to Wes. Like, don't ask me. I'm only a 40-year direct marketer. I don't know shit.
Well, what if you are?
I'm saying that with the utmost humility, because if your clients love it, then it's perfect. And by the way, you are a kid, regardless, and that's why you're so good at what you do. So I think you're questioning something that you don't need to question. The marketplace has told you what you need to know.
Well, they didn't buy this. They got it and they loved the work, but I don't know how sophomore.
To go out to use the same concept to go out into other
That's
markets.
the point I'm asking.
You know what? You test it slowly. You titrate a test and you see. Now, I will say that in different markets, was this one specifically for dentists or no?
No, here was the point. I showed him how to get a market for dentists so that everyone would be on the same page. And then I showed him, here are the prompts to turn this to any business that you want.
Yeah, that part I'm not as comfortable with, because if you're going out to people who are not looking in the dental market, that could be off-putting. So I think that if you're into personalization, whatever market you're going to, just change it, even if you don't have it yet. Like just change it to whatever their market is. If they're financial planners, make the doll financial planners, and it's the ideal client multiplier machine for that. So you can
That
test
is
it.
the point of
Test it
that.
anywhere.
What do you think of the title, the name of this seminar? I mean, there's benefit. Is it bad, good? Here's what you should think of.
That's going to be a longer discussion.
Can you point me where I should look?
ChatGPT.
Uh,
Just keep it. I mean, I don't know if machine is a good word. I mean, I love the fact that you say you name stuff and then you hate the name. I mean, just the fact that you're naming stuff, whoever names the game owns the game. So you own the game once you name it, but is it a good name? You got to test it in the marketplace. The fact that this went to people who are already in your market and they loved it doesn't tell you is what you want to hear. They're telling
That's
you
exactly right.
Yeah. So you need to test it, obviously. And I think it's I mean, yeah, I don't. I'll have to think about other alternative titles.
Tommy, when I'm trying to come up with a name for something, I'll have an idea. So maybe it'll be ideal client multiplier machine, and I think maybe that's it. Maybe I could do something better. So I would go into ChatGPT and I would just say, hey, I'm trying to come up with a name for this thing. Here's the name that I have. Here's the goal. Here's what I want people to, how I want them to react when they see the name. Like this is what I'm wanting to elicit from somebody when they see it. Given those goals, can you give me recommendations on different names for this giveaway or kind of thing? And then that's how I would start a conversation. And then eventually at some point it's going to give me something that, it might be a phrase here and a phrase here, and I'll combine them. That's my approach.
I want to ask you one last question. I said that 3 times. Here's what it is. I was woken up in the middle of the night by a line that I can't get rid of. The year of maybe something really big. I can't get it out of my mind. I'm writing on it and magical things are happening. When you hear the year of maybe something really big, it violates everything. But when
it's not definitive, right.
But when I test it and I evaluate it, the feedback, I'm like, be brutal on this, and it comes up magical. My question is, the year of maybe something really big. It's so stupid. It should be a movie. Like, right? Now, any take on that? I'm going to do it. I'm going to test it because I know.
You're going to test it anyway. What doesn't matter what I tell you. Doesn't matter what anybody tells you.
Wow.
You're going to keep your mind is going to is never shuts off. So, and that's a good thing. But keep testing, Tommy. Don't second guess everything. You don't need to, and what's the worst that happens, right? You test something and it doesn't work. You've had stuff that doesn't work before, and then stuff explodes.
I appreciate both of you guys, and I hope Mariano doesn't have a problem.
Ryan, can I say something really quick on that?
Yeah.
Tommy, so the way I think about copy, especially now, is, you have to trust your intuition, right? Like, it's that Robert Frost quote about, like, no tears in the writer, no tears in the reader. If it affects you, like, you are the first reader of it. So if it affects you, then you're onto something. And I think that this intuition that we have as entrepreneurs, as business owners, as copywriters, is going to become more and more important, especially as AI is proliferating and makes writing commoditized and is just able to spit out 10,000 words in a minute. You have to be the purveyor of taste and the purveyor of, like, what it is that is compelling.
Eddie, you don't know me, because you should know I have no taste. A man who collects bobbleheads, 6-inch porcelain figures for need for approval should not be trusted with anything sacred. Do not trust me.
I get it, but all levity aside, this is your business, right? And you have been doing this for a long time, and
he's very,
more than a modicum of success.
He's very successful too.
Yeah, so there you go. So you just have to trust like that. If it's waking you up in the middle of the night, that's a pretty good indicator.
That's an indicator in itself. That's true, Eddie.
All right. I appreciate you, Brian and Chris. Home runs. Well done. Well done.
Thank you, Tommy.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Let's do Eli and then Art. Is Art still on? He wanted to ask a question.
Okay.
Oh yeah, he has Art McCormick still on. All right. Let's do Eli and then Art.
Glad to be here. I have one client in particular we do Meta and YouTube ads for, and I think it's around 70% of the money and results are coming from people that are like 55 or older, so nearing retirement or going into retirement.
It's the best market. They're people with money and time usually.
Yeah. So going through some of these exercises, I'm kind of thinking again about how, like right now we advertise to anyone over 35 and the results are very similar, but we don't segment the messaging heavily based on like, you're nearing retirement. What are you going to do? Like, here's a thing you can do.
What's the offer? What's the offer?
It's basically like a side hustle type of thing. So you can learn how to do voiceover. That's the product,
I know somebody who does that for a living.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know Susan Berkeley.
Yeah, that's who it is. If I can talk about that, but
she's a Titans Accelerator member. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm thinking about, the obvious thing is keep going after the retirees and near retirees.
You're never going to get a new market that way. And I think a 35-year-old looking for a side hustle and a 55-year-old looking for a side hustle, just off my gut says those are two different markets. And they should
so my gut says we should be segmenting that further and talking to them differently.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So I did want your opinion on, is it better to go after the overlying mass market? I want to do something different. I want to make money with my voice. Or is it better to go after those deeper?
Well, we just had a discussion about niche. And so this isn't even a niche. This is just an age demographic in a particular area. I think you know the answer. I mean, if in doubt, and especially, it's not like it costs you so much more. Like, and now I have to go back to the olden days when I walked to school in the snow barefoot 12 miles and did direct mail as my only form of marketing, where doing a test like that costs a lot of money in terms of zip code strings and printing and postage. You don't have any of those problems, my man. You don't have any of those problems. So why it's not, and I'm not saying, I'm not trying to, make it obvious, but it is obvious that the answer is you got to test that because you don't know,
that was my, gut instinct.
Yeah. I mean,
but I did want to hear your opinion on, is it better to, try to lump them all together and go, you all have the same desires in some, there's maybe one mass overlying desire. Or is it better
if you did the worksheet?
Now you're 35.
For a 35 and a 55-year-old, you'll come up with very different scores. You'll come up with very different thoughts and desires from, I don't know what they are. You have to do it. I'm not going to do the research. You have to do it. But
that's one of the things I was running into doing the exercise. Is I was thinking, okay, most of the people again are going to be in this 70%.
So I can. What they will tell you, what they won't tell you, what they can't tell you.
But ignoring 30%
different
of the market and going, no, we're not going to talk to them specifically. That seemed like a bit of a head scratcher on this.
No. Getting. Look, you want to own. I'd much rather own a niche than own the. I like to own the world too, but owning the world is a tough game. Owning a niche is always more satisfying. And so I thought, Great Voice was really targeting the retiree more than anybody else to do it as a new job because they don't want to work in a company anymore and they want to do voiceover. but a 35-year-old doing voiceover full time, maybe. But I think
Yeah, I think it's
just
more of a side
yeah,
hustle. Like, oh,
definitely.
if it turns into a really good thing, that would be great. Like most side hustles.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. Side hustle is an interesting concept because side hustles do have to be, I think, have to be structured by age group.
Okay, no, that's good feedback. So I'll kind of be doing these exercises with, that sort of
You
segmentation
may
of
want to niche it down even further.
exactly.
35-year-old men and women, 35-year-old, people who work in corporate environments versus their entrepreneurial. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to go. You don't want to overdo that, but you want to think about what messaging could penetrate based on doing the worksheets.
Yeah. Well, it's got me thinking about the offer too. Like, is there a different, offer?
It should. Thanks, Eli.
Yeah, thank you.
Good question.
All right, Art, you still have a question?
Oh, Chris, thank you. Yes, yesterday I was driving and training and listening at the same time. Just on that prompt that you provided for the homework, the first step you said, use the voice of customer attached. Maybe you explained that in the presentation yesterday, and I'll go back and re-listen for sure. But can you just clarify where that voice of customer is coming from, please?
Yeah. So a little bit before the end of that Mass Desire, or before I got to the Mass Desire prompt, further up in the presentation, when we were talking about research, I gave a research prompt as well, and that's where I was talking about using something like Perplexity or ChatGPT, Deep Research, any AI tool, Deep Research. But there's a research prompt, and that output gives you the voice of customer. And what I do is I copy that, I put it into a text document, and then I attach it to a chat in ChatGPT, and then I run the Mass Desire prompt.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that, Chris. Appreciate it.
Yeah, reach out if you have other questions or can't find it or anything like that.
Will do. Thank you. Awesome presentation.
Art is the mobile Titans accelerator. He drives the truck and he listens to the calls. He's my hero. You're my hero, Art.
That's awesome.
Thanks, Brian. Well, you guys inspire me very much. Thank you so much.
Same here,
Awesome
Art.
class. Thank
Same
you.
here.
Thanks, Art. All right.
All right, we should adjourn. We've been going for like 2.5 hours, but
Yeah, we'll wrap up. Tomorrow we got the day off. I really encourage you to use the Facebook group as you're going through this. Like, post your questions, but post your wins, like discoveries. That's helpful to see too. Let's have conversations there. And then Friday we're back at 11 a.m. Eastern. We'll be talking about states of awareness. So that's a fun one.
yeah, you should repost the full schedule again, Chris, with all the correct times.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to bring that up at the top of this call. So I haven't moved that Friday the 16th call yet, but I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
So that 16th, the call on May 16th is going to move to Monday the 19th.
Yeah. So,
Yep.
but outside of that, I think we're in good shape. And of course, a week from tomorrow, we have the Titans Accelerator call with AI heroes and OGs, and that'll be a fun call for everybody. So, I like bringing the boot camp and accelerator together for that. So
Yeah,
that'll be a blast.
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All
Thanks,
right, guys.
everybody, for staying with
Again,
us. It was a long call, but we always over deliver. So.
yep. I'll just like yesterday get the recording out to you a little bit later today. So y'all have a good one. Reach out if you need help.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Lots of brain food.